What up, YouTube? It's me, Isaac, coming to you with another edition of My Life. So, as you know, I've recently gotten into playing Digimon, the TCG, well, recent TCG. And the card shop I go to is in, I think it's Greencastle. And, give me a sec to open this daggum deck box. They're tricky to open when they're full. Give me a minute. As you can see, I've got a thing of change in there. Oh, dude, I forgot I had bought those. So this is so what I have in my hand here is one of the first starter decks I bought that I have sleeved in plastic, which I bought from the card shop that I frequent nearly every Sunday. As you can tell, they're just regular sleeves. They aren't regular sleeves, they are Pokemon sleeves, which I probably should have slipped on my Pokemon cards, but I figured, hey, I'm a Digimon fan. Why not protect my Digimon cards with Pokemon sleeves? Although I don't regret buying the sleeves, but I do sort of regret buying them from where I bought them from, because I could have found these on Amazon for, I haven't checked the price, but I know where I bought them from. They were like a bit more expensive than I think they should have been, but I still bought the deck and I wanted plastic right then and there. So that's why I bought both at once. I do kind of feel a little stupid for that, but not that stupid, because just a couple weeks later, the same guys that sold me the deck in the plastics helped me build a, quote, viable deck out of my starter decks, which would be not this one because I didn't have it with me. Actually, wait, maybe I did. I can't remember if I had this deck with me or my other two decks, but they had extra cards from their collections that would work in a every tamer deck, which they were nice enough to give me, which was completely awesome. They didn't have to do that, but they still did. Thanks, guys. And I'm just having a blast. I had a blast when I went to the card shop last Sunday. As I said in one of my videos, I won my first match, which was absolutely awesome, because it was one of the regulars that was showing me the strategies in my deck that I had that they all had helped me create out of every card I had, and some cards I didn't have, which they had, which was, like I said, really cool of them to do. They didn't have to be that cool to me, but they freaking were. And yeah, as soon as I was taught some of the basic strategies of the quote unquote what I call the complete digidestin deck, well, A1 Digimon digidestin deck. I'm not sure if they have I'm not sure if they have tamer cards from the other series. I kind of hope they do. And if they do, I will probably build a deck of Digimon Tamers from '01, from '02 to if I can get my hands on the Digimon Tamers cards, that would be a really sweet deck to use because I actually I loved every season of Digimon and Pokemon for that matter, and Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's neither here nor meow. And I remember when I was in when I went to summer school, which the only reason I even went to summer school was to get help with my I-step test because I just wasn't prepared for it. Although I went to Indiana School for the Blind for that, or should I say Indiana School for the Visually Impaired. That was really cool because it was um, separate dorms for every grade. Although some of the dorms had kids from 11th and 12th grade together, and the lower grades, which I really find cool because we had a big screen TV there, which was completely awesome. And that was when Digimon Tamers was running. And when Digimon Tamers was running, I was a huge Digimon freak. I mean, I'm still a huge Digimon freak, as you can tell by the 50 cards in my hand. And I actually probably need to put these back in my deck box. Give me a second. As you can tell, um, I've got a piggy bank full of change that my brother had given me, which is pretty cool. I might spend some of that on more Digimon packs if I get the chance this coming Sunday or whenever I get to go back. If my brother if my brother has time, I'll ask him to take me, and I will. If they'll, if I'm able to, I will do I will do a pack opening video in the adjoining room where where they host their tournaments, which is kind of weird that they use the back of the shop for their tournaments. Not saying that that's not strange. It's just a little weird that they don't use but I do kind of get why they use the back for their gatherings, because unless the gathering is about, I would say, I don't know, 45 to over 45 people, they would need more than the back room and the middle room. And if I buy more packs, hopefully soon, I will, if I can get them to agree, I will open the packs and do a review of them. Which one of the packs that I opened when I bought my first, I think it was 4 or 5 packs, maybe 3. I pulled something that I never thought I would pull, and it was one of my favorite Digimon from any Digimon series, or even the first one. It was a Zulongmon, and that was pretty cool because back in the day, before I even knew before they changed up the rules and all that stuff, I used to run what I call Angel deck, which was focused around Patamon, Togemon, and Digimon of that variety. And I used to rule my school tournaments in middle and high school. Although I don't even know how we found the time to have our tournament club in high school besides lunch, but we did. And every time, even after shuffling my cards, I just seemed to have the either it was either the luck of the draw, or to quote Yu-Gi-Oh, the heart of the cards. But I know when I know that back in the day, I used to get my boss monster out on the field like within the first 5 turns, if not anywhere from 5 to 10 turns, and my friends would keep going, even though they knew they really should have stopped, because if I remember right, back then, Magna Angelmon, besides the Dark Masters, was one of the strongest Digimon cards back in the day. And now that I pulled a Zulongmon out of a pack, which was completely awesome, I had, and he's actually in my digidestin deck. And the reason he's in my digidestin deck, even though he is a different color than the other colors, although once you have all 4 digidestin cards, which are TK and Matt, Ty and Joe, Sora and Kari, which is red and yellow, which means I could play Angelmon again, which is nice. But he's not as strong as he was back in the day. Although the only reason I think that is because he was way too overpowered when he was Magna Angelmon. And like I said, I would always get Magna Angelmon out within 4 or 5 turns, and the only reason I did that was because I ran like 3 copies of it. We didn't have any quote unquote real rules in our TCG club. We could run as many copies of Digimon as we wanted, and that's just how I managed to get my Magna Angelmon out for the every time, because like I said, I ran like 3 copies of him, and I ran 2 copies of Angelmon and maybe 3 copies of Patamon. But but like I said, even though back in the day I ruled, it's been years since I had played until I got back into it, like I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, which means I didn't have a cohesive deck until the guys showed me how to build. Till they showed me that every starter deck has cards that are cohesive to one another, which are the Tamer cards and the Adventure cards. With all 4 decks, you get the the main monster on the box, which would be Enuman, and in that deck, that was the deck of hope and the deck of light, which it was really just called the deck of hope because light and hope are always tied together. And the deck of friendship had Metal Garurumon, Mega Garurumon, Garurumon, Gabumon, and I think it had Agumon, Greymon, and Metal Greymon. I don't know about War Greymon because it's been a while since I even played with that starter deck. After they showed me how to combine the four starter decks into one cohesive deck, I stopped playing with just the starter decks, except for the fact that I have this starter deck completely sleeved. Although I really need to, I have during Amazon Prime Day, my mom bought me, I think it was like 400 card sleeves, which I really need to sleeve my, side cards, which I just keep in one of my old deck boxes. Although I really should switch them to one of the five deck boxes Mom bought me on Prime Day. She bought me the 400 plastics and like 4 or 5 deck boxes, which I haven't opened the deck boxes yet. The only reason I opened the plastic was to keep my cards safe. Every card collector knows to slip their cards in plastic unless you're a complete idiot. Not saying anybody is, but although I did learn one thing, because with Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic, you have cards that you can get graded from PSA and other grading companies, but PSA is just the one grading company I know off the top of my head. And while they were helping me build the digidestin deck, I asked them if there was any Digimon TCG player who ever got their cards graded, and everybody in that room said there was no way because they bought their cards to play with them, and I completely agree. Although there are some Pokemon cards that I wish I would have gotten graded, like I mean, even without it graded, there's a card in my in one of my card boxes, not my deck boxes, obviously, because these are just for my decks and my side decks and crap like that. And by crap, I mean just the cards I use the most. But in one of my old art boxes that my mom got me for, I think it was either my birthday or Christmas one year. I actually think it was. Christmas. I keep my overflow of cards, like the ones that I just collected, in my box, and it has like multiple compartments and a and it's like I don't know how wide it is, but I know that ignore the clock. But I know that I have some kind of expensive cards if I were to get them graded back in the day, and would have remembered about hard plastic. Although I prefer soft plastic for my cards because it's a lot easier to get it in, and hard plastic would bend the cards and then they'd be worth less money. But I know, even though it's a faded card because I've had it for close to 20 years, that there's one card, even without it graded, that is worth a hefty sum. I won't say what the card is because I don't want anybody knowing that I have the card, but I know what card it is, and I know that if it was a gym mint 10, it would be worth, let's say 5 to 6 digits. And I would never sell it because of where I got it, which was actually one of the reasons why I wish I never opened that pack, because if I did, it'd still be in perfect mint condition, even 20 years later, which was awesome that I had actually pulled that. I won't say what it was, but I will say it was a first edition, and y'all can figure out what the card was from that, because I will not say what the card is because I'm not a moron. But if you know Pokemon cards, you'll know what one card that I am there's like 5 cards that are worth 5 to 6 digits in that Gym Mint 10, which I really wish I would have gotten that graded by PSA. But at the time I was 14 and I would have had to ask my mom to send it in, and I don't think she would have sent it in. But the way I keep my cards, or the way I wanted to keep my cards, was in a dark, airtight room. But that never ended up happening. At least, not with my overflow cards. But some of them ended up in a dark room in a semi stored place. But I know that one of my Pokemon cards, like I said, is worth a hefty sum if it wasn't 20 years old and possibly about to fall apart. But if you know Pokemon, you'll know which one of the cards that I am talking about, because like I said, there's only 5 Pokemon cards from the base set 1 that are worth that much money, and you can assume which one it is, but only I know which one it really is. But yeah, I'm your host, Isaac Rummett. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. I know I sure as hell will.